All right, there are some crazy things going on with the Champions Cup because there are 32 spots on the wait list. Let's talk about it. Okay, so this is the first major of the entire year, the Champions Cup. It's in about 1 month, so there's certainly time for things to resolve. But right off the bat, looking at registration, we see 100 registered players out of 100 spots, and that sounds all fine and dandy. But then you look at the wait list, and there are 27 people just on MPO alone. And I'd be thinking like, oh yeah, I'm sure it's a popular tournament. What's so crazy about that? Well, all right, just to rattle off a few names. We have Ezra Aderhold, Andrew Presnell, Kevin Jones, James Conrad, Luke Humphreys, Casey White, Aaron Gossage. So these are elite level players that definitely have the potential to get top 20 most tournaments. If you're Kevin Jones or James Conrad, you have a real potential to podium or even win this event. So the fact that they're not even currently registered for this major is crazy. So let's go over how this actually happened. So registration opened February 6th and the cap was 1020. So any player that was 1020 and above could register for this event. And then a week after that, people rated 1000 and above could register for this event. And according to people like Luke Humphreys, the event filled up within 6 minutes. So he was actually pretty close to being on it, but the second that he tried to register, it was already filled up. And then people like Ezra also tried to enroll in this, and he had similar issues where he couldn't enroll in this event. And he was pretty frustrated. He had some rants on Twitter, basically stating that the communication was just not there. He had no idea that the registration schedule was so tight. And an assumption that he made, which I would say is honestly a kind of fair assumption, is that if you have a tour card, you shouldn't have any concerns getting into a major as a 1020 plus rated player. And he stated, it's our job to play in these tournaments. People like Presnell also tweeted about how they did not even know about the registration. And then in classic true fashion, comes out with some heat and says it's our job to sign up for this event. And as a player that didn't actually get in this event, Ezra comes back with, it's our job to play tournaments. Where have you been? And I think it is pretty clear to say that sure, this is definitely on the players to know the exact second that the registration goes online so that you can enroll in this tournament. It is a major. This is not just a silver event. This is not an elite series. This is one of the 4 big events that you must attend if you want to be an elite level player. And so there's definitely some onus on the players to know exactly when this will happen. But if it was just a couple players, then yeah, it would be on Ezra, it'd be on Presnell, or it'd be on KJ. But for so many people to not know about this registration leaves a lot to be desired in terms of communication for the PDGA. And that leads me to the PDGA. This is not a Pro Tour event. This is a PDGA event. And they have certainly had issues in the past where they've had poor communication, poor caddy books, and poor knowledge about the event up until the day of. So I certainly think this needs to be improved upon for future events because this is just not acceptable for the most important players to not know about the events that they're going to be the shining stars at. They are not just the backups. KJ and Conrad very much have the potential to take home this event. And so for them not even to be allowed to this event decreases the viewership, decreases the value of the event because you do not have the best players there. You have a large group of great players, but you don't have the entirety of 1020 and up-rated players. And I honestly think that the PDGA and Nate Heinold, the TD, will correct this because it is something that would have lasting impacts for the rest of the season. And it would certainly leave a sour taste in everybody's mouth because there are players as low as 991. Now I think these players are actually invited to this event because they won some amateur event, but still the notion that you would prioritize 990 rated players that will attract very little viewership and make basically no impact to the rest of the season and forbid these 1020 plus rated players would be a pretty tough pill to swallow no matter what side you're on. So I think it's pretty clear that they're not going to allow every single waitlisted player, but I definitely think that the 1020 and up players definitely need to have a little bit of leeway here. And if anything, because of the lack of communication that was given to these players, they're pro level players. They're not one to just miss everything. Obviously I know it is on them, but they still have a real impact being at this event. So leaving them out of the event would just not be good for anyone. And let's just say it was Paul McBeth that missed 2021 or 2022 Worlds. I don't think anybody would be excited about that or get mad at Paul because he missed the memo that sign up was this exact date. And if you don't do it within that time span, it's going to get booked up and you basically have no chance to get back. So I'm sure there's lots of people that are like, yeah, Kevin, Conrad, and Ezra should have gotten their stuff together, but that's not what happened. And I think the PDGA needs to make a stance to allow these players into this event. So let me know what you guys think. I am sure you have a lot of strong opinions. I'd like to hear them. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Wild Runs signing out. Peace.